anyone else tired? Not just physically tired or mentally tired, but tired of everything? Because lately, I've been tired of literally everything. Right after I posted my last video, I went into this strange phase where I just couldn't find anything to watch anymore. Not on YouTube, not on Netflix, nothing. Usually when I'm cooking or cleaning, I'll put a video on in the background and listen while I do things around the house. And when I can't find anything to watch, I'll usually turn on music. But even music wasn't hitting right. Every time I opened social media, within 5 minutes, I felt irritated, overwhelmed, or just done. So I'd shut it back off again. Everyone, it seems, has a course to sell you or a community to join. They have all the answers or are interviewing someone who has died and they have all the answers. There's doom and gloom prophets and there's the love and light prophets. You have the channelers giving daily downloads of information from our galactic friends telling us to embody love, stay in the heart space, and hold on for the pole shift, or the sun to transform us all. And you have some of those so-called prophets being exposed for being not at all who they claim to be. And after 11 years of constantly consuming spiritual information, I realized something. None of us really know much of anything. We can prophesy until the cows come home. We can make predictions. We can interpret signs. We can connect dots. But at the end of the day, none of us know for sure. And I came to this strange place where everything I'd consumed over the last 11 years suddenly felt complete. Not wrong, just complete. There was no teaching I hadn't already heard, no theory I hadn't already explored, no absolute proof of anything. And I realized something else. You and I can look at the exact same picture and walk away with completely different conclusions because we're both filtering reality through our own experiences. So why was I spending so much energy searching for certainty from other people who were doing the exact same thing? That's when something in me just stopped. I had no desire to make another video, no desire to work on my courses, no desire to keep up with anything. So I just stopped. For several months, I had this feeling that I needed to get quiet and just be still. But I was addicted to the noise, to the consuming of more information, to the FOMO, that's fear of missing out, if you didn't know, that I just couldn't stop scrolling and looking. So finally, my nervous system started refusing everything, and I was forced to just be. It felt like picking up my phone and listening to anything would push me over the edge. So I took the time to not produce, not consume, not react, not constantly absorb noise. Just exist. I spent 11 years trying to understand what was happening in the world. But Spirit needed me to step away long enough to remember what was happening in my own life. Because knowing everything that's happening in the world doesn't change the world. It's what we do in our everyday lives that change us, which in turn changes the world. As I'm sitting here typing this video, the house is quiet. I can hear handpan music softly playing in the living room. My little dog Axel is over here snoring beside me. And I can hear birds chirping outside the window. And the peace of that is so soothing to my nervous system that I could honestly cry. Because I think a lot of us have forgotten what peace even feels like. Yesterday, I ran across a short video online, and it was honestly one of the best things I've seen in a long time. You may have seen it. It was just a red cardinal sitting on a tree branch during a storm. The wind was blowing the branch everywhere, but that little bird was hanging on for dear life. And the person who posted it paired it with audio from Forrest Gump, the scene where Forrest and Lieutenant Dan are out in the middle of the storm at sea. Forrest is terrified and Lieutenant Dan is angry and yelling at God. And somehow it fit perfectly. It was so funny that I literally laughed out loud. And then I did what we all do. I went straight to the comment section. And honestly, humans are hilarious when we want to be. But after reading the comments for a while, I suddenly started crying. Actual tears rolling down my face. Thousands and thousands of comments from people saying things like, "This is just me trying to survive 2026," or "I didn't realize how badly I needed that laugh." And I felt that deeply because I think we all feel it right now. There's this pressure that's been building steadily for years now, emotionally, financially, spiritually, mentally. And everywhere you look online, it feels like people are fighting, arguing, panicking, performing, reacting, predicting disaster, or trying to force everyone else into fear. And I think our nervous systems are exhausted, not weak, exhausted. And sitting there reading those comments, I realized something. Nobody was asking for another prophecy. Nobody was asking for another prediction. They were looking for relief. We're looking for permission to put the weight down for a minute. Moments where we laugh. Moments where we breathe. Moments where we sit outside and hear birds. Moments where we stop doom scrolling long enough to feel our own lives again. Moments where everyone puts down their phones to just be with one another. Because the truth is, that little cardinal video gave thousands of people something they haven't felt in a while. Relief. For just a few seconds, people stopped bracing against life. And maybe that's part of the problem. We've become so overwhelmed with information, fear, opinions, and constant stimulation that we don't even know how to rest anymore. We don't know how to simply exist without needing another update, another warning, another argument, another distraction. The entire month of May, I stayed off Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. And I missed nothing. Nothing happened. The world kept spinning. The prophets kept prophesying. The channelers kept channeling. The influencers kept influencing. The arguments kept arguing. And when I came back, it was all still there. It reminded me of the soap operas I used to watch back in the 80s. You could stop watching for 5 years, come back, and somehow the same people were still doing the same things. Maybe the actors changed, but the storyline didn't. So maybe this video is just a reminder to soften a little, a reminder to step away from the noise sometimes. A reminder that not every thought needs a reaction. Not every comment needs a response. Not every battle online needs your energy. And maybe, instead of adding more anger into the world every time we log on, we could try adding a little more humanity instead. Because people are struggling right now more than they admit. Most of us aren't trying to become gurus. Most of us are just trying to become whole. We're moms and dads, grandparents, people working long hours, people paying bills, people carrying responsibilities, people trying to make it through the day without falling apart. And sometimes the most healing thing in the world isn't a massive spiritual revelation. Sometimes it's peaceful music, a quiet house, a dog snoring beside you, birds outside your window, and a tiny red bird refusing to let go in the middle of the storm. And honestly, we should all be a little more like that cardinal right now. Hold on and do not let go. Yes, the world is changing all around us, but that doesn't mean we fall apart in the process. That little bird wasn't trying to figure out the future. He wasn't worried about the pole shift. He wasn't worried about the economy. He wasn't arguing online. He wasn't trying to save the world. He was just holding on through the storm. Maybe the cardinal wasn't hanging on because he knew the storm was ending. Maybe he wasn't waiting for someone to save him. Maybe he wasn't trying to figure out what came next. Maybe he was just doing what cardinals do. One moment at a time, one gust at a time, one breath at a time. And maybe that's enough for us right now too. Because maybe peace isn't hiding in the next prophecy. Maybe it isn't hiding in the next download. Maybe it isn't hiding in the next piece of information. Maybe it's already here, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the life that's happening right in front of us. Over the coming months, I'm going to start sharing more of the tools that helped me find peace through my own storm. Not rules, tools. Things that helped me clear old wounds, calm my nervous system, reconnect with spirit, and remember who I am underneath all the noise. Because after 11 years of searching, that's what I found. Like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to learn some of those tools, not rules. And until next time, namaste.